Got this story from the AP. Missouri executes a man for the 1998 killing of a woman despite her family's calls to spare his life. Now, this is a difficult story here. The man was Marcellus Williams. He was put to death just the other day. Strangely, the prosecutor said that they believe the case was mishandled, and the victim's own family said they did not want him put to death. They wanted life without a chance for parole. I believe that there's a grave injustice when the victims, that would be the family, are denied their demand for justice. I think many conservatives would agree, but I do not understand. I think it's unfair to say. I would say I largely understand a lot of what is being said by the right when they advocate for the state execution of this man. My fear, however, is that innocent people are too often put to death, and this story raises a lot of problems, which I open the floor to comments and debate. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think about this story, and I'll read it to you, and then we'll talk about what we think we know about it and the moral surrounding. A Missouri man convicted of breaking into a woman's home and repeatedly stabbing her was executed Tuesday over the objections of the victim's family and the prosecutor, who wanted the death sentence commuted to life in prison. Marcellus Williams, 55, was convicted in the 1998 killing of Leisha Gale, who was stabbed during the burglary of her suburban St. Louis home. Williams was put to death despite questions his attorneys raised over jury selection at his trial and the handling of evidence in the case. His clemency petition focused heavily on how Gale's relatives wanted Williams' sentence commuted to life without the possibility of parole. The family defines closure as Marcellus being allowed to live. The petition stated, Marcellus's execution is not necessary. As Williams lay awaiting execution, he appeared to converse with a spiritual advisor seated next to him. Williams wiggled his feet underneath a white sheet that was pulled up to his neck and moved his head slightly while his spiritual advisor continued to talk. Then Williams' chest heaved about a half dozen times, and he showed no further movement. Williams' son and two attorneys watched from another room. No one was present on behalf of the victim's family. The Department of Corrections released a brief statement that Williams had written ahead of time saying, "All praise be to Allah in every situation." Republican Missouri Governor Mike Parson said he hoped the execution brings finality to a case that languished for decades, re-victimizing Miss Gale's family over and over again. I don't get it. If the family said they did not want him killed, you were victimizing them. They said our closure is him not being executed, so why kill him? Now let's break down the arguments, because I do not trust the left. Okay, they come out and they want to make arguments why he was actually innocent. We got some questions here, but there are still questions about the mechanism itself. No juror, quote, no juror nor judge has ever found Williams' innocence claim to be credible, Parson said in a statement. The NAACP had been among those urging Parson to cancel the execution. Tonight, Missouri lynched another innocent black man, the NAACP president Derek Johnson said in a statement. It was the third time Williams faced execution. He got reprieves in 2015 and 2017, but his last-ditch efforts this time were futile. Parson and the state Supreme Court rejected his appeals in quick succession Monday, and the U.S. Supreme Court declined to intervene hours before he was put to death. Last month, Gale's relatives gave their blessing to an agreement between the St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office and Williams' attorney to commute the sentence to life in prison. But acting on an appeal from Missouri AG Andrew Bailey, who I'm a big fan of, by the way, the state Supreme Court nullified the agreement. I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. If the prosecutor and the family say, we're going to agree, let's keep him life in prison, no parole, but we're not going to kill him, why intervene and be like, no, kill the guy? I just don't understand. He's not getting out. He's already in prison. Is the argument the state doesn't want to pay the bills? I don't know. What's the legitimate logical argument for a man who is locked in a box, can't go anywhere? But let's read more. Williams was among death row inmates in 5 states who were scheduled to be put to death in the span of a week, an unusually high number that defies a years-long decline in the use of support of the death penalty, blah, blah, blah. Gale, 42, is a social worker and former St. Louis Post-Dispatch reporter. Prosecutors at Williams' trial said he broke into her home in 1998 August, heard the shower running, found a large butcher knife, stabbed her 43 times when she came downstairs. Her purse and her husband's laptop were stolen. Authorities said Williams stole a jacket to conceal blood on his shirt. His girlfriend asked him why he would wear a jacket on a hot day. She later saw the purse and laptop in his car and that Williams sold the computer a day or two later. Prosecutors also cited testimony from Henry Cole, who shared a cell with Williams in 1999. While Williams was jailed on unrelated charges, Cole told prosecutors that Williams confessed to the killing and provided details about it. Questions I have there. Were the details unknown to that individual? Or was this man offered rewards? Williams' attorney responded that the girlfriend and Cole were both convicted of felonies and wanted a $10,000 reward. They said that fingerprints, a bloody shoe print, and hair and other evidence at the crime scene didn't match Williams. A crime scene investigator has testified the killer wore gloves. Questions about DNA evidence also led to St. Louis prosecuting attorney Wesley Bell to request a hearing. Now, I don't like this guy either, Wesley Bell, I got to be honest. Challenging Williams' guilt. But days before the August 21st hearing, new testing showed that DNA on the knife belonged to a member of the prosecutor's office who handled it without gloves after the original crime lab tests. Without DNA evidence pointing to an alternative suspect, Midwest Innocence Project attorneys reached a compromise with the prosecutor's office. Williams would enter a new no-contest plea to first-degree murder in exchange for a new sentence of life in prison without parole. A no-contest plea isn't an admission of guilt, but is treated as such for the purpose of sentencing. Judge Bruce Hilton signed off, as did Gale's family, but Bailey appealed, and the state Supreme Court blocked the agreement and ordered Hilton to proceed with an evidentiary hearing, which took place last month. Hilton ruled on September 12th that the first-degree murder conviction and death sentence would stand, noting that Williams' arguments had all been previously rejected. That decision was upheld Monday by the state Supreme Court. Attorneys for Williams, who was black, also challenged the fairness of his trial, particularly the fact that only one of the 12 jurors was black. Tricia Bushnell of the Midwest Innocence Project said the prosecutor in the case, Keith Larner, removed 6 of 7 black prospective jurors. Larner testified at the August hearing that he struck one potential black juror partly because he looked too much like Williams, a statement that Williams' attorneys asserted showed improper racial bias. Larner contended that the jury selection process was fair. Williams was the 3rd Missouri inmate put to death this year and the 100th since the state resumed the death penalty in '89. Here's what I have to say. I don't know that I believe this guy's innocent, right? However, not having gone through the case, I've only read preliminary things. The question ultimately comes down to, first and foremost, if the family of the victims, the people who are seeking the justice, say, we agree, let's just keep him with life without parole. Who is being served by then deciding to actually kill the man? The taxpayer. That's the argument. The question then for everybody else, and this is a real question, not a gotcha, not an emotional dig. I'm saying, do you consider this, and again, legitimately, answer, let me know what you think, because I really want to hear your thoughts. Would you consider paying I think it could be upwards of like $50,000 to $100,000 a year to pay taxpayer-wise for the life of this man in prison until he dies, if it would mean not killing innocent people, right? So my view is there's a big problem with forcing people to pay for anything. And so it is unjust to say, this man's been convicted. We believe he's a threat to others. He can't be released, but you should pay for his life from now on. That's just like taking more money from people. But I have a bigger moral problem personally with there's a question of his innocence. Not that I buy the whole, the prosecutor was racist stuff or whatever. None of that. The question of whether or not, I think in this story and these stories in the past, that you have a felon in prison and an ex-girlfriend felon offered $10,000 who then go, oh yeah, he totally did it. I don't trust these people. I wonder if people genuinely understand how evil people can be. If you understand that there is a man that you believe is so evil he would murder a woman in cold blood with 43 stabbings, is it not possible that there is a woman who would lie claiming he did for $10,000? That gives me pause. To which I would agree. Matt Walsh makes great arguments. What do we do? Just pay for this guy's life forever? And I say, fair point. I oppose the death penalty as an institutionalized mechanism. But I think we all agree that if we definitively as individuals who witness something happen, it's very different as opposed to being convinced of something. I'm not going to go join an advocacy group marching in the street or anything. I'm not that, I oppose it. I'll speak about it. But is it really my life's work? Yeah, not really. The issue then becomes, if there is doubt that this woman may have just wanted the money, they wanted 10 grand, 2 people, do we want to risk killing an innocent person? Well, I don't want to release a guy who may have stabbed somebody and done this. Okay, I agree. Like, the dangers to others, don't trust it, right? Would the compromise then not make sense? The family says, we'll just keep him locked up forever. Me personally, I would personally prefer to contribute to imprisonment. I think the island is a better option, and I think it's plausible. Exile. Look, man, they may be lying about you. It may be bad for your life, but I'd rather not be the one who morally is This is what Matt Walsh said. It was a great point. The undue moral burden on an individual to kill someone. And that's basically my point. He articulated it much better than I. But I incorporate now the point he made into the bigger point. What does it mean to kill an innocent person? Is it 1 in 4 or is it 1 in 200? 250? They say the range could be anywhere from 4% of death row inmates are innocent and put to death, or it could be as low as 0.4. Is it worth having someone pull the lever to execute an innocent person? And we wouldn't call that murder because there's a good faith action on behalf of the person that they're ending the life of an individual they feel is a threat to society. But for me, I just think we have a moral conundrum here in this society. One that doesn't have an easy answer. Do we fund the life of an individual who may actually be the most brutal of evil murderers? We can't release them. They'll kill somebody else. They are a constant threat. Currently, they are subdued, and we have the choice. End their life with a death penalty or pay for them to live forever, and they don't do anything for us. I don't know. I don't know if there's a good answer to this one, honestly. Certainly, there can be labor done in prison under a watchful eye that can generate some value for society. But in this instance, I think this is an example of the killer was wearing gloves. The girlfriend said that he was wearing the jacket and he was doing these things, but she may have gotten paid off for it. That's tough. I don't buy the left-leaning arguments. And this prosecutor, I'm no fan of. He's St. Louis, right? He's had some weird woke stuff going on. I don't know a lot about it. I'm just saying, man, for me, I can't speak for you guys. I would always rather err on the side of not having an innocent person be murdered. And that means sometimes the guilty escape their punishment. Because in this instance, I don't say go free. Blackstone's formulation in Franklin, they said it's better it's better that 10 guilty persons escape than 1 innocent person suffer. It's one of the lessons of the Bible in Sodom and Gomorrah. If a guilty person of serious and heinous crimes is going to be locked up forever and cannot harm anyone, then I believe them escaping death is better than killing an innocent person. I cannot fathom. I would never pull the lever on an execution. I would never do it. There's no amount of money you could pay me. There's no amount of evidence you could show me. Nothing. I would never do it. That being said, if I was direct witness to a crime, watching someone in cold blood threaten the lives of maybe there's a victim or children or whatever, I absolutely would act in the immediate as legally required to defend the lives of myself and others. And that's a harsh prospect and a harsh reality that a lot of people have to unfortunately deal with. But grow up, be a man. These things happen. The bigger question is, a man is on a gurney. He is covered by a sheet and they say, we can kill him right now or not. He's not going to hurt anybody. It's been 30 years. The family doesn't want him killed. There's questions of whether he did it. What do we do? It is terrifying to me that the machine state just says, well, kill him anyway. I don't like that idea. That's just me. But I'll leave it there, my friends. I'll wrap it up there. I don't have any good answers for you. I'm not the bastion or arbiter of morality. I can just tell you what I think and how I feel. We'll see you all in the next segment. Got an extra one in today. Thanks for hanging out. And follow me on X, smash the like button, subscribe at timcast.com, and we'll see you next time.